today we are going to be making sourdough bread. Now I just found out my camera battery is dying again, so we'll see how much video we get before I have to, before it shuts off. Last night I made the sponge, and this is what it looks like. It's very, very bubbly and very, very wet. To make the sponge, all it takes is 2.5 cups of flour. I use whole wheat, and 1.25 cups of water, and you mix that together with 1 cup of your starter, and then you put it in the oven. I put it in the oven overnight with the light turned on from the I put it in the farthest corner from the light bulb itself. That keeps it at a nice warm temperature so that the sponge has a chance to really rise, the yeast really gets to work. But now that we have our sponge, it's been sitting in it for 8 hours. Now I get to add 2 cups of flour and a bit of salt. So I'm going to go and get that right away. Now I like to do 1 cup of white because I find that it becomes fluffier and has less of a sour flavor to it with 1 cup of white. And then I've also got my 1 cup of whole wheat. And it's morning, so I forgot to do everything first. So here's my salt. Okay, so now that we've got our stuff in, we're just going to mix the dough until it all is blended together. Mostly, it kind of forms a bit of a ball, and then we will put on the timer and let it mix on low speed for 5 minutes. Alright, now that our mixture has been mixing for 5 minutes, we are going to turn it off and set the timer for another 5 minutes because we need it off for 5 minutes. And during that time, we will prepare our bread loaf pans. This recipe makes 2 loaves, and I just use the butter wrapper and I just butter the entire thing. Make sure you get into all the corners. The bread tends to come out fairly easily. I haven't had a problem with it sticking. Now another thing that I like to do, the saran wrap that I used to cover the sponge, move those aside, I like to use it again to cover up these pans for while they're rising. Because if you don't cover them at all, the dough dries out on the surface and then it does not rise as much. So I am going to butter this because I actually have had it where it's risen high enough where it's stuck to the saran wrap. Now the saran wrap, because it's only supposed to loosely cover, I just do the one piece and just loosely cover, kind of like that. Now that that's been sitting for 5 minutes, my timer just went off, we turn it back on for an additional 3 minutes. Okay, now that we've mixed it, this is actually a little wetter than usual for me. My sourdough starter, I think I added a bit too much water when I was prepping it last night. I always prep it about 4 hours before I actually want to make the sponge. That way it gets it ready to actually, so it will actually rise. If I don't prep it, then it doesn't want to, the bread doesn't want to rise properly. So I'm hoping that this will work. It's not a very picky bread at all. It tends to work regardless of how many mistakes I make. But yeah, so now we just, it's kind of gooey. Now this is the interesting part. Getting it out of the bowl and into the pans. always takes a little bit for me. It scrapes off of the spatula really nicely. It's just sticking to itself so much. It's like gum. So I just kind of take it out and then divide it between the two loaf pans. So now we have our 2 loaves that are ready to go, and I will just take this, it's this way. Actually, it's pretty square, I'm not sure if I'm... And we lightly cover it with the saran wrap, and we will be putting it in the oven, once again, with just the light on for the bread to rise for about 4 to 6 hours. This is what it looked like when it's all risen. Now I'm preheating my oven right now at 350 degrees. And it has been rising. Actually, I let it rise for almost 5 hours this time, but you can do anywhere from 4 to 6 hours. Alright, once they have been baked at 350 degrees for about 40 minutes, then they are done. And you can let them cool and you'll have fresh sourdough bread. I hope you enjoyed and have fun making your own sourdough bread. I will leave a link below to the websites that I went to that I used to get my own sourdough starter started. I'm not going to make a web video of that, mostly because it takes a very long time and it's a very repetitive process. I actually highly recommend, if you know somebody who does sourdough and has their own cultured starter, to ask if you can get some off of them, because a starter is, once it's been started, it's fairly simple to maintain, which you will see on the websites. I keep mine in the fridge for a week, since I bake bread every Tuesday actually. And so my starter, I've actually had my starter now since, oh, when did I make it? I think it's September or October, sometime in there. And it gets better and better as it goes, as you have more time with it. I actually started one, I ended up trashing it because I thought it was ready and it wasn't. And then it ended up going, smelling really bad. I wasn't feeding it enough, and so it didn't have any more of the yeast cultures, and it actually killed itself out. I don't know how I managed that. They say it's not an easy thing to do, but I managed to do it. So yeah.